This, the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship, round 2, race number 1. We're about to get ready for race start. Let's hand it down to the pit lane and get all the updates.
You're going to see today, it really has been a fantastic build-up for this second round of the Formula Regional Middle East Championship here at the Yas Marina Circuit, the meeting place of champions. You can see for yourself that the cars are still in the process of heading their way out of the pit lane, out onto the circuit to go and form up on the grid. Now, we've seen already some colder temperatures this weekend. You can see the drivers just making their way back out onto the circuit. The ALT Grand Prix trio getting themselves dialed in and ready. Evan Schilter, along with the two Japanese drivers, Kanato Lee and Taito Kato. Watch out for them today. Evan Schilter managed to grab a pole position. Is going to be up for the battle, but the man they've all got to be is the one who managed to take pole position, Freddie Slater, who also managed to take a pair of pole positions and a pair of race victories on the Grand Prix layout. The only really thing that's going to make it a little bit easier for the drivers this time is that we've changed the layout. We're now on the corkscrew facility, which means that instead of dropping all the way down the hill to Max Verstappen's hairpin lunge, we're now going to turn left and drop down a crest of a bit of a zigzag, which makes setting up the car for a downforce heavy race a bit more of a priority. The drivers are finding that tyre life is very, very difficult to predict here, especially considering it's a little bit cooler today than it was at the weekend for round 1. The wind is a little bit stronger and the guessing game is even more unpredictable. But one man still stands head and shoulders above the rest of the field, and that man is the British driver, Freddie Slater. Is he relaxed going into round 2? Well, last night I caught up with him. Freddie, fantastic first round of the championship. It was a pretty perfect round all in all. You managed to get everything you could out of the pole positions and turn them into victories. And in the reverse grid race, you made up some positions. How do you assess the weekend, your first ever in Formula Regional in the Middle East?
Yeah, it was a pretty special weekend. Obviously, to win on debut as well was pretty cool. Obviously, tough conditions for all the drivers. We all spoke about all the degradation we had and the way we're trying to learn with this Gissy tyre. Obviously, it's only round 1, so we've got 4 rounds to still perfect it. Obviously, a few places made a reverse grid. This car's not great for dirty air, so we're really having to work on that and see how we can make that even better to gain even more points. So, no, overall, really solid weekend.
So try and level with me, where is that pace really coming from? Is it your understanding of tyres? Is it the hard work that the team have put in to put you in that position? Where is it coming from all of a sudden?
I think we knew where we were at. I think also you don't go into anything with any expectation. You just baseline, you go out and you give it your all and see where you end up. I think we put a lot of effort into understanding the tyres because the tyres are the most important thing out of anything. So as long as you get that absolute peak out of it, which in qualifying we definitely did, especially in Q2, it makes all the difference. And then I think each year I'm just growing as a driver, getting better and having more of an understanding and more of a free headspace so I can do the drive more in a flow state and then focus on other things in my spare time, let's say. So I think that's a massive thing that I'm trying to develop and hopefully pays off in the future.
I've been in a really privileged position over the years to watch you grow from the age of about 8 years old in British karting at clubbies and a few regionals and nationals and then all the way to this position. When you look back over it all, is it still a bit of a reality check for you? Do you still kind of feel, how have I got here from all of those incredible days?
100%. Obviously, when I was 8 years old, I was probably a bit of a hazard and didn't know a lot. And yeah, obviously everything you just develop each year, don't you? And also, I had some great memories with all the people around me. And yeah, to this day, you can, when you do look back at it, you see where those certain moments made you even better. For example, 2021 World Championship, all the different sort of conditions we experienced in the UK as well to make me even better in the changing conditions out here. So you do look back at it and see it paid off.
Now, last year you won this title in the F4. This year you're leading in Formula Regional. They're very different cars. How would you describe the difference between an F4 and a Formula Regional to someone who's not in the position you're in? How would you describe it?
Yeah, quite a big car compared to an F4. Obviously, it's got a limited slip diff, so when you can actually rotate the car on power, which is quite a nice feeling compared to an F4. Quite a big, heavy car, so tyre degradation is a lot more compared to an F4 car. And also in the racing situation, it's a lot harder to follow. So to actually make ground when you're 20 minutes into the race or 15 minutes into the race is super difficult. So yeah, it's a big step up.
One of the interesting factors of round one is from one day to the next, the difference in the pace of lap times. We had about a 2-second drop off at one point from one day to the next. How do you as a driver adapt to that when the conditions change almost without warning?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing that we experienced. Obviously, I think race 1 to race 3, race run, we were 5 seconds faster in total race time in race 3. So obviously a big jump and something we're not all used to. But honestly, we just have to go out there and adapt. You get the cars you get dealt with, and you've got to get on with it. So yeah, you've just got to feel what's underneath you. I think obviously we look through the data overnight and the next day to see where we can find every little tenth we can find. And we all did, and I'm sure all the teams stayed up nice and late to perfect it, and yeah, it paid off in the end.
So much has been written about you and spoken about you in the media and by fans and followers on social media. There's that elusive question of why there's not yet been a representation by a Formula One team. Now, you've got an incredible team of people managing you and around you. Is that enough for you? Is the threat of a potential deal with F1 a distraction, or is it something you'd welcome?
Honestly, it's something I don't need at the moment. I'm focused on my own job. I've got the right people behind me, like Craig Boy, my family, AD Management. You know, they're the best people to have around. We're doing our job at the moment, and I'm sure all that sort of stuff will come at the right time, because at the moment it's not needed. So I just keep trying to do my job at the moment and keep on winning races.
So 2 years ago, Andrea Kimi Antonelli came here, won the title in your car, essentially. Now he's a Formula One driver. You've already started winning a round earlier than he had. Is that something that potentially gets in the mind, or is that not really where your head's at the moment?
No, not at all, honestly. I don't think about all the records and all that. I just focus on the job, and then at the end, when you round up the year like we did in 2024, you just go, well, I broke a few records this year, which was good. So no, it's definitely not in my head. Obviously, Kimi's doing an amazing job to get where he has done, and to be winning races already is a good start.
It's been a good few years for British drivers climbing the ranks. Obviously, George has come up, and so has Lando. The potential for you getting there, it's looking more of an inevitability rather than a possibility. Is that where your motivation comes from? Is that why you just keep pushing yourself to raise your game each year?
Yeah, each year, like, my main focus is perfection. I just want to do, even if I win the race by 2 seconds, I want to win it by more, because I just love perfection, and that's what's driving me to become even better each year. Obviously, a few British drivers coming through, like Lando and George, obviously great drivers as well. So it'd be nice to join them one day, and we'll see how we go on.
Well, round 2 here is on the course. Wow, a fascinating chat there.
Fascinating chat indeed. Thank you, Jake Sanderson, for taking that conversation there with Freddie Slater. But it's 16 corners, 4,572 metres, and distance from end point to start point is 315 metres. But this circuit, the corkscrew section, as they'd say, is a very, very interesting one indeed. This weekend, supporting the 8 Hours of Abu Dhabi, and of course with the F4 Middle Eastern Championship. Hello and welcome to the Formula Reginol Middle Eastern Championship, as Jake Sanderson said a little bit earlier on today. 14 degrees air bit, 26 degrees track temperature. It's a little bit strange to have colder conditions here at Yas Marina, but of course we do have colder conditions, making it a little bit more challenging for these drivers. Yep, there is Freddie Slater lining up on pole position, getting himself calm before the start of this race. Tyres have been a big talking point so far this week, and to talk more about it, Jake Sanderson up in the commentary box will be talking you through it. Virgil Tear lines up second.
Strongest performance so far going into the weekend. A second on the grid and a pole position for race 3. It will be fascinating to see what he can do. Looking excited for what the battle will come as they continue to move their way further forward. So still the battles rage for the drivers in position. Third on the grid, the man who flies the flag for the United Arab Emirates, the man who lives 15 minutes away from the race circuit, and he's certainly proving to be another spectacular rookie, very similar to Freddie Slater. Rashid Al-Daheri running in the Yaz Heat colours in a Formula Regional for the first time in the 2025 campaign, and certainly with the tenacity to do it. Love the fist bump from the marshal on the grid there. The second of the ART Grand Prix drivers to be up in the top four. Watch for this boy, Taito Kato of Japan. Definitely a name worth watching out for in the future. He is such a big talent, and Honda are backing him all the way. You never know, he could go all the way to Grand Prix racing and represent Japan on a big platform. He is an amazing competitor and certainly worth a watch in the years to come. So with Taito Kato lighting up the circuit and putting on such a fantastic show, it's going to be really interesting to see what they can do. There's Jesse Calixado, the Mexican driver, lining up fifth on the grid for this one. He was actually fastest in both yesterday's practice and this morning's, so he's looking a lot quicker this weekend. And there is the other Japanese driver making waves. If we've got one young driver in the Honda camp, we've got another in Toyota's camp. This is Jin Nakamura with the teddy bears on the helmet, looking really excited for the weekend to come. Everywhere Taito Kato goes on track, Jin Nakamura is either just ahead or just behind. It really is fantastic watching these two Japanese prodigies move. Speaking of prodigies, what about the young man in the McLaren Young Drivers Program? The American, Zach Brown, will be watching the boy from New York City with that beautiful silver helmet, very much in tribute to his hero Mario Andretti. But Yugo Ugochukwu, who dominated the Macau Grand Prix back in November, looking so strong in a Formula Regional these days. He's got more pace this weekend than he had at the weekend, so this is a much better opportunity for Yugo Ugochukwu. He hasn't quite got the grid spot this time, but he's certainly got the potential. And there is
Harrison says, did you commentate the supercars race? Well, I actually didn't have any plans to commentate it. But then I found out that it was quite an interesting race, and I was like, flip me, I should have probably done it. I should have probably done it, but I didn't. Back down to Jake Sanderson to talk you through the grid.
Superstar Jack Beaton, F4 China champion, and certainly a strong competitor in his native Australia as well. Jumped out of F4 at the end of last year, having been the vice champion of the Italian Championship. Now into the Mumbai Falcon squad in Formula Regional. He was so unwell last week, but he is back to reasonable fitness for this one, and it's great to see him at strength again, and he's up at the sharp end alongside his teammate on the grid, Reza Suworthan, the British driver with Mauritian roots, a bit like we saw from Teofil Nal. This is going to be Reza Suworthan's last weekend in the championship. The British driver with the Mauritian background is going to be fighting his quarter, and it's good to see him based down in the south of England, but very proud of his Mauritian heritage. So Reza Suworthan will be obviously pursuing his racing campaign at the end of this weekend and getting himself set up for more great things back home in Europe. Yes, I did see that. And what about another Frenchman with a big mission ahead of him this year? Enzo Deligny, bit of a prodigy in the world of F4, was backed by the Red Bull program. He's moved away from it for this season, but he's going to have a lot of good coaching from the likes of the French racing driver Hadrien David within the Race GP fold. And don't forget that he still has mentoring from the two-time karting champion, the greatest racing driver you've probably never heard of, Lorenzo Travasanuto, who's been winning world championships in karting for the last 6 campaigns, and a really exciting talent, a great person to have in Enzo Deligny's camp.
Indeed, he is Enzo Deligny. But yes, I did see, well, I heard about it. I heard about that, Ryan Wood and Chaz Mostert incident, more or less. There was a few incidents in that race that I was like, flip me. I found my PSP. Do you know what it is? I do not know. Well, it is now time to kick off round number 2 here at Yas Marina. We've got a special little intro here.
The drivers are all familiar with this circuit by now, but we switch to the shorter corkscrew layout. Currently, Freddie Slater is in first position in points. Let's see if he can continue to lead in this round. Australian.
Of course, the ads bloody ruin it for everyone. Awesome. What's PSP? I found my PSP. Okay. Do you know what it is? I would have absolutely zero idea. yes, we return for the Formula Reginol Middle Eastern Championship, certified by the FIA. The car's out on the grid. It is a PlayStation 2 that is basically a mini. So, I found my PlayStation. Do you know what it is? So, it is a PlayStation 2. That is basically a mini. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Interesting. I saw you commented on the God of Supercars has to be Jack Smith. Okay. I can name about 100 times Jack Smith has ended up in a wall. I don't even know how he got past the feature category of F4. I do not know how he did it. I do not know how he did it. Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome in. And a brand new account. We'd love to see it. We love to see it. Welcome in. Okay, let me quickly put you as moderator. Yep, YouTube is screwing me up once again, so I'm back with using a backup. Huge. Let's talk you through the grid. Freddie Slater, Evan Gilter, Rashid Al-Heri, and the man himself, Taito Kato. Severukin, Nakamura Berta, Uku Chikwu, and Teofil Nile round out your top 8. With Jack beating the Australian in P9, Artem Severukin in P10, Enzo Deligny in P11, and in P12 is Brenda Badua. Aaron Cameron, Rivera, Giovanni Maschia. As I'm taking you to right now, I'm at go-karting with my friend Jasper. Oh, awesome. You should make a video. Akshay Bora, Kai Darinani, Kalkrani, and Ricky Liu in position 20. Everett Stack and Castelleo. We also have Frank Green and Parrott. Elizabeth, guess what? I've gotten so much better at pronouncing names. It's only taken me 11 months. Wang Zhai and Yaroslav Veslau rounds out your group, P25 and position 26. Aren't you so happy with me, Elizabeth? I've gotten so much better at pronouncing names. Yeah. Okay, I have to go because we're next up, so I'll see you in the next stream. Awesome. See you then, Harrison. See you then. But yeah, next stream will be tomorrow. Whole week of streaming to make up for the 2 weeks that I have been away. Plus a just chatting stream on Friday. So, should be very interesting indeed. You're getting a like for that. Awesome. Good to be back commentating. Let's get it going. The cars weaving as they try and get tyre temperature into the tyres. Let's get back going with the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship. 2 rounds we're smashing out this week. Let's get back to the good old days before, of course, that social media ban comes in. And I'll be away for 6 months before once more I return doing the Formula Regional European Championship. Not by Alpine, by the FIA, heading into next year. So plenty of streaming coming up from the 12th of June, ladies and gentlemen. 12th of June, the Thursday of that weekend. Green flag at the back of the grids. It's good to be back commentating. We've got 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go. A good start from Freddie Slater. Alongside him is Enzo Deligny. They'll go side by side as they run up into turn number 1. Taito Kato on the outside. Also looking around the outside as well is one of the RSGP cars. Slingshotting right around the outside and going up into 3rd place. Lockups cutting up into turn number 1. Cutting up the surface of that tyre as the cars now make their run up through turn number 3. But on the Grand Prix circuit, it's turn 13. The cars now making their way up, and everybody seems to get through quite easily and quite calmly as well. Race number 1 absolutely kicking into life. Freddie Slater, he got a pretty good start, to be honest with you. And Taito Kato jumps him. Rashid Al-Heri sits in 3rd, and I think I would like to say Taito Kato sits down in P4. Jin Nakamura in P5. That is your top 5 as they run up now down into turn number 1 on the Grand Prix circuit. This turn 9. And the fast right hand up. 28 minutes plus 1 lap. Front wing bursting everywhere on the front straight. And what I don't mean physically bursting everywhere. A bit of front wing has clipped off the side of a car. Down through the corkscrew section. Turn 11, turn 12 and turn 13. Then back out onto the back straight. the front straight, should I say, on this circuit, supporting the Abu Dhabi 8 hours. The reason why we are actually even using this part of the circuit, the corkscrew section, they make their way out and down the back straight and into the final couple of corners. This turn 14 and 15. Into the braking zone, Freddie Slater still leads over Rashid Al Daheri, who had a really good qualifying session yesterday, actually. Up the inside, cutting straight on contact. And there is definitely a car with huge front right suspension damage. This will be a safety car. Contact, the car went straight on. And I'd like to say that is John Parrott with huge right front suspension damage. And probably will bring out the safety car. Evan Giltaire has just made a move for second, actually, ladies and gentlemen. So Evan Giltaire makes his way up into second. Rashid Al Daheri sits in third. Taito Kato and Jin Nakamura sits in position 5. Uga Chikwu does his second year this year in Formula Regional. Looking to head on into the F3 Championship. Their finale in a few weeks' time. And just to make things just a little bit worse, I won't be streaming F1 or F1 Academy this weekend. But I will be streaming F1 Academy throughout the week. So it won't be this weekend, but there is front wing damage. So it wasn't suspension damage, it was front wing damage to car 15. Sadly, out of contention or out of this race. And that front wing seems to be stuck under the underfloor of that car. That will not be doing any good to the aerodynamics of that car. In terms of this turning or even at this straight line speed that will be going through that car. Yellow flag is out. I think it's a double yellow. Is that a white flag? There is definitely a double yellow. And there is definitely a car stopped. And with front wing or possibly suspension damage. And there is a safety car. We have got a safety car here, ladies and gentlemen. And if I can read the number, is that car 9? Is that car 9 out of this race? And yes, we have gone safety car. So for the first time this year, we have gone safety car for 2025. The first 3 races in round 1 here at Abu Dhabi went safety car free. We now no longer are safety car free in 2025. Our first safety car of the year in race number 4 of our championship. So not only next week, not only this week will I be streaming all week, next week I'll be streaming all week. Huge! We love to see it. It's not 2 days of streaming, it's 4. Boom! Suck on that. Ha! You thought 2 days was good. Think of 4. But it's really early in the morning, so yeah. Think 2 days is good? Double that by 4. Double that by 4, ladies and gentlemen. Double that by 4. How have you been, Elizabeth? It's been a while. It has been a while. Let's take a look at the race restart here. And very good start from Freddie Slater. As I said, absolutely converted down into turn number 1. Jin Nakamura looking right around the outside. And this was what looked to be the contact that caused the safety car. Was it just car running into the back? Or... Oh, okay. Yeah. That would explain that. So they were nearly 3 or 4 wide, actually, heading into turn 14. Under brakes and just ended up damaged. So can't really do much about that. Porsche safety car out on track. It has been a huge weekend in the Abu Dhabi 8 hours. There is the pit lane right there. With the crews inside the Abu Dhabi production car 8 hours. So it is a production car race here at Abu Dhabi. The head of the Formula Regional down here at Abu Dhabi this week. And has nowhere else better to be but here at Abu Dhabi. Of course, the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine ended off a few weeks ago with Freddie Slater wrapping that championship up. He now comes back to the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship to go 2 in a row. Quite interesting there. And there would be many reasons as to why he'd do that. Fast recovery from the Abu Dhabi crew. The Abu Dhabi, more or less, marshals. And now making their way through the chicane and safety car in this lap. Freddie Slater puts pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go for Freddie Slater. Puts the pedal to the metal, and we've got 21.5 minutes of racing still to go. Green, 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 and it's to the outside, goes rushing out of the Harry. He'll sweep around the outside, through goes out of the Harry, but to the inside goes Freddie Slater. It's Evan Giltaire, sorry, in position 2. Carl Graney sets the fastest lap of the race. Giltaire tried to swoop right around the outside. It wouldn't happen as they head to the braking zone of turn 4. Turn 5, now they go. Aldehari, covering by Taito Kato, the Japanese driver. Well, at least trying to. There is Taito Kato. And Jed Nakamura in behind. Ugochikuru as well. Of course, that was Everett Stack, who ended up not really making it past the first few corners. Turn 14, that incident happened. And Freddie Slater now making his way up through the turn 1 on the Grand Prix circuit, where the production car race, the 8-hour production car race, will be getting underway. Now, through the corkscrew section goes the cars. And up through the chicane, we've got 5 minutes of racing down pat for all these drivers as they make their way on the exit of the corkscrew and down the front straight and stretching these F4 cars. Freddie Slater, he still leads by 0.1 of a second. Under brakes now, hitting the brakes hard and into the right hander. This is 14, 15, and on the exit, getting the power out and to the 1. Onto the straight. The Mumbai Falcon, Freddie Slater, 142.644. Very good opening lap after the safety car. Very good battle indeed. This is what looks to be battle for P8. Jack Beaton, Teofil Niall. For those people that consistently watch my streams, you would actually know that a lot of these... You would know a lot of these drivers for those people that watch my streams or listen in through the watch-along. You would very much know some of these drivers. For example, Giovanni Maschio, Yaroslav Veselau, even Aditya Kalrani, who sits in position 25, but 20 seconds off the lead lap. Freddie Slater leads by 0.4 of a second. And back to Evan Giltaire. The two very experienced drivers in way of F4 racing, or single-seater racing, should I say. Very experienced indeed, in terms of that single-seater racing. A lot of experience, indeed. Freddie Slater, though, he still leads by 0.4 of a second. To the outside, one of the RSGP cars, that's car 1. That is Enzo Deligny, looking around the outside of Brendo Bardua. And we've got Ricky Liu dropping back down the grid. He's dropped to P16. And that is Enzo Deligny looking up the inside on Brendo Bardua. Has he got the move done? Switch back as they head into turn number 1. This turn 10 on the Grand Prix circuit. To the outside, sweeping what looked to be Enzo Deligny. Does he get the move done? No. It will be Brendo Bardua who tries to keep it in there. No, he doesn't. Enzo Deligny goes wide and cuts the right left-hander. And off the road goes Enzo Deligny. No longer making a stand for himself in terms of trying to make that position more or less worthy, should I say? I'll say worthy. 17 minutes to go. 0.5 that margin. Of course, I do once more apologise for not streaming the Viola Wealth Sydney 300 this weekend. Well, the weekend that's just gone. I do very much apologise for that. other things ended up happening. And didn't get time in my schedule. My weekends are very much not a quiet weekend. My weeks are a bit more quieter than what my weekends are. 16.5 minutes to go in this race. The race at the moment, Freddie Slater being led 0.6 of a second. Then to Rashid Al-Dahiri, then Taito Kato, Jin Nakamura, Ugu Chikru, Jack Carrasquedo, and then Jack Beaton, Teofil Nile, Brenda Batua, and our championship contender, Enzo Deligny. So I apologise, it was Enzo Deligny and Severukan battling for position 11 and position 12. So it wasn't Brenda Badua and Enzo Deligny battling for P10 and P11. It was P11 and P12. Deligny very much struggling with his qualifying performances this weekend. Here we look at Jin Nakamura and Uguchikwu. Uguchikwu looking for a dive on the Japanese driver of Jin Nakamura. 15 minutes to go. 15 minutes and 30 seconds, should I say. We heard that interview with Freddie Slater, and a lot of the drivers have been saying that there's been a struggle with tyres this weekend. And trying to keep these GT tyres alive it's been very much a struggle. So it will be interesting to see how these drivers keep the rubber under them, or keep the grip that they have under them alive for as long as humanly possible. That should be an interesting topic indeed. Freddie Slater, though, he leads by 0.6 of a second. The margin's actually closed a little bit to Evan Giltaire since that safety car restart. It's 0.5. 14 minutes and 31 seconds to go in this race. About to cross the halfway point. And still half of this race to go. 14.5 minutes to go. Here, as side by side, this is Rivera and Kanato Lay. Up through turn 1. Must I stand corrected? Aaron Cameron and Ricky Liu, side by side. Aaron Cameron looking for the move. That wasn't going to happen much at all, to be honest. Here we look at Freddie Slater and Evan Giltaire. Giltaire got a very good start. Overtook Rashid Al-Dahiri on that opening lap. Almost put a question mark as to whether or not Freddie Slater really has the pace, but overall Freddie Slater did genuinely get a good start. Got to give him that much. He genuinely did get a good start. With 13.5 minutes to go. Jack Sanderson, take us away for about 3 minutes.
He's got the pole for this one, but he's down in 5th on the grid for race 3, so you do kind of feel like there are some little cracks in the fray. There are a few cracks in the ceiling, if you like. Freddie Slater really hoping to hold on. This is a real test of his character. It's one thing to have a car where you can get into the lead and pull away. It's a completely different game to have a guy on your tail for the whole race, putting him under pressure. You can't afford to blink. You can't afford to spend too long looking in the rearview mirror. You've got to focus. You've got to make sure that that guy does not get inside your head. And Giltaire is the kind of driver who will muscle his way into any driver's gravy. Absolutely amazing stuff. Really good battle between them. They share lap times. On the last lap, Freddie Slater did a 1:43.225, and then Giltaire did a 1:43.223. My goodness, how close is it between these two? To line through the W Hotel, Slater snaking around. Work their way out of the turn. Slater's really starting to feel the heat. Those tyres could well be falling away from him. Giltaire making him work for it. Right, brake, turn in, drive the car, don't slide the back end too much, don't use too much curve. This is Slater in real pressure mode. This is the hardest he's had it all season. It's only the fourth race of the year, but it's races like this that can really start to eat away at a driver's confidence. He's got a decent points gap, but all it takes is for Gilter to start to hustle, to start to find those weaknesses in Freddie Slater's DNA to get his move. Let's see if Slater can pull away. Gilter looking so good coming off the turn. He's close enough in the slipstream, he can have a go, but he won't want to push it. He's still got 11.5 minutes. These are the tricks you learn in karting. Sit tight, stay in second, don't make the move until the end of the race. Here's another pressure cooker building up as Jin Nakamura is going to have some pressure here. Oh, sorry, that's Yuga Chukwu under pressure from Jesse Kadashkado. So Yuga Chukwu and Kadashkado, the American and the Mexican. Once again, Gilter so close to Slater. He takes another few hundredths of a second out of him on that last lap. Car number one must give the position back to Reza Suwerden. That's the instruction that's come up on the timing screen, and so he applies. Reza Suwerden gets through into 11th place. And so Tadiki will not be happy with the instruction, but that is what the officials have done. Oh, Gilter really started to threaten Freddie Slater. Don't think the move would have happened there into the W Hotel. Gilter doesn't want to take that bigger risk. He's certainly making Slater work for it. As they come out of the W Hotel, he's really hustling the Englishman. Slater, Gilter. This is Combine Falcons Driver versus ART Grand Prix. Britain versus France. Slater versus Gilter. And Aldeheri is really starting to get his work together as well. He's been looking after the tyres the last few laps. Sat there in third position. He's gaining on both of them. This race is not over. 10 minutes left of it. There's a black and white warning flag for track limits infringements for two drivers. One of them is the 3. That is going to be Akshay Bora. The other is Liu Che, the Chinese driver. And now we've got 3 drivers effectively battling for the win because Rashid Aldeheri has decided to go with Evan Gilter. So smooth. You've got to be so precise. Britain, France, and the United Arab Emirates in the top 3 positions. The toughest race ever. Slater locks up! His first mistake all season! Gilter's got to run off the turn! Slater's got to cover the move. That's the first big error we have seen from Freddie Slater all season. Now Gilter's going to tumble it! Slater not letting him out the move. Not giving him the gap. Gilter trying to create the move. Watch Aldeheri around the far side. And Gilter's got him. Gilter leads. Aldeheri's coming through as well. Slater down to P3. These are the races that can change the championship. And Gilter and Aldeheri have got the move on Freddie Slater. It's blown wide open now. And Slater's got to find a way to get back into this. Otherwise, he might not get a win all weekend. Wow. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, the state of the race and the title battle can change. It's advantage France. Evan Gilter patiently borne his way through each of these laps, waiting for the mistake, and it came at the chicane. So Evan Gilter now leads the way. The leading rookie is now Rashid Aldeheri on home soil. There he is in the Yaz Heat colours. The Emirati running in second place behind the Frenchman, and Slater's under pressure from Taito Kato now. We did say that the second round of the championship was going to be tougher. He locks up again. Slater's really struggling now. It's amazing what a difference in 3 little corners of a racetrack can make. The car is so much different with downforce applied, with a very different setting to the car. On the Grand Prix circuit, Slater was dominant. On this shorter corkscrew layout, he's really struggling. We did say that the wind was going to make things very tricky this weekend. It's a much tougher race circuit now. As Jesse Kadashkado continues to hustle the New York Giant. Excellent work for Yuga Chukwu, the man who conquered Macau. Here comes Taito Kato. He's going to get Freddie Slater now. And the Japanese youngster makes it look like child's play. Slater is plummeting. Something's definitely gone wrong. So this is very uncharacteristic. I wonder if Slater's just pushed the tyres too hard in his defence of Evan Gilter, and as a result, he's just plummeting down the field. He could end up dropping out of the top 6 here because there's still 7 minutes left of racing, plus the additional lap. This could be a real pendulum swing in Gilter's favour. Don't forget that Slater starts race 3 from 5th position on the grid, with Gilter on pole. Could this suddenly transform the championship? I mean, the only thing that Slater's really got potentially going for him is if he drops enough, he could fall to 10th position and get a reverse grid pole tomorrow. But Slater in dire straits here, down to P4. Shilter leads, Aldaheri second, Kato is now third. What an opportunity for the Japanese youngster. Taito Kato trying to close up on the leaders. Oh, a bit of a snake at the brakes for Jesse Galashgado. Real twitch as he tries to slow the car down. But there is more coming, more pain coming for Freddie Slater. That's Jin Nakamura in the background. And Freddie Slater is losing time to it. Freddie Slater.
This is a bit of a problem here for Freddie. As Kawasaki to the inside on Jin Nakamura. Surely that won't work, and it won't. I'm sorry, that is on Uguchikwu. And Uguchikwu retakes the position by cutting the chicane. That will very much not go down well in the Stewart's office.
3 seconds a lap slower than everybody. And Uguchikwu has to give the place over to Galashgado. He'll have gained by cutting the chicane. He knows the rules, so he moves over and lets Galashgado have it. Freddie Slater is currently losing anywhere between 2 and 3 seconds a lap to the drivers around him. Something's gone horribly, horribly wrong for the Mumbai Falcon driver.
The only thing I can think of would be possibly a delaminating tyre for the British driver. It's possibly the only thing I could think of up to this point. If he's losing 2 or 3 seconds a lap, you'd think it would be. Oh, and around goes car 50. That is James Parriott. How he's done that? Oh, nearly made contact. Did James Parriott with oncoming cars. That could have possibly ended badly, but luckily it didn't. Luckily, it didn't end up badly. With 4 1/4 minutes to go, Freddie Slater is very much in trouble here. Very much in trouble indeed. We take a look at a replay of what happened with Parriott. Has he... Oh, no, he's been helped. Oh, no, he hasn't. Made contact with the back of another car, and that has, unfortunately, sent him right round. There's James Parriott. Got a bit of work to do in the last 4 1/4 minutes of this race to try and make that time back up. Of course, race number 2, a reverse grid. And race number 3 for Freddie Slater, he starts P5. He's in a world of hurt here if he can't make any more positions. Or he keeps losing time at least. He's picked up the bit of pace, but it's only by half a second, so he's still losing 1.5 seconds a lap, as Freddie. I'm only imagining it's a slowly delaminating tyre for Freddie. It has been a problem all weekend that it is possible to delaminate these GT tyres. Cooler track temperature, meaning you'd think the tyres would last a bit longer, but the surface around here hasn't got... The surface isn't a high grip surface either. As much as you'd think, like, you've got so much action going on. You've got a production car event happening this weekend. It's very much not a high grip surface. You've got all different types of rubber being laid down throughout the weekend. You've got road tyre rubber, you've got Michelin rubber, you've got this GT rubber, and you've even got Pirelli rubber from the F4 Middle Eastern Championship. So you've got so much different types of rubber that is being laid down. To the outside now goes what looks to be Kawasaki to the outside, and I think regaining a position on Uguchikwu. Very nicely done. Got to be careful not to outbrake himself. Covers to the inside, dirty side of the road. The more or less compared to the cleaner side. Uguchikwu now to the outside. We have seen a lot of moves done so far this race at that very corner. But this time around, it's not going to happen. Evan Gilter, though, he's leading by a comfortable 1.5 seconds to the man himself of Rashid Out, the hairy. Freddie Slater has picked up the pace, only 1 second a lap slower now. But still, that is quite a chunk slower. I'm thinking maybe a delimiting tyre up to about 2 or 3 laps to go. It was a delimiting tyre, I feel. That could possibly be the only answer to that question. I could only think. 90 seconds left in this race. And still with Enzo Deligny leading. He got the lead by way of Freddie Slater, losing a jack ton of pace. And we very much don't see Freddie lose that type of pace in a short amount of time. It would have to be overtime that he loses it. Up the inside goes Jin Nakamura to the outside, to the inside, gets the move done back on Carrasquedo. This battle has been going on for the last 5-10 minutes now between these two. Now once more covering is Carrasquedo. These races very much bring on that interest. Very much indeed. "20 seconds to go. This one, the 95 of Evan Gilter. I wouldn't call it dominance, but it has been a very good race from the young man. As he rounds, will not be the final corner. You can see that the production cars during their practice session have been doing practice starts. Of course, their rolling start this weekend, their standing start through their race. 8 hours of Abu Dhabi, the production car race. Through the corkscrew section goes Evan Gilter and sliding on the exit. Night practice still to come, along with F4 Middle Eastern. Race number 1 for them. 3 races for both categories supporting the night practices still to come for the production car race. Saturday, the production car race starts. We've had practice day for production cars, and of course that private test day. But Evan Gilter now starts the final lap. Final lap of the race for Evan Gilter. More or less slow or painful. Red flag. And we've got a red flag. Looks... Oh, no, we don't. And that was obviously just a timing malfunction. It did say we had a red flag out on our timings. It did pop up. But obviously not. Now once continuing on is Evan Gilter out of the final corner. Still got 2 hours of production car practice still to come for the Abu Dhabi 8 hours. This race, of course, streamed on the Wednesday. Practice on the Wednesday. Night practice is FP3. Thursday, tomorrow, we have plus a qualifying session. So, should be very interesting indeed. Very, very interesting. Race 2 for Formula Reginol, and I think the Lamborghinis are here this weekend. I think it's Lamborghini Super Treveo Middle Eastern as well. Evan Gilter coming out of the final chicane and making his run to the line. It's Evan Gilter. Victory on the first race of the weekend. Round 2 here at Abu Dhabi. What a performance. What a race.
Everyone's going to be delighted. Carrasquedo, 4th position. 5th place is going to be Freddie Slater, just in front of Jin Nakamura. Yugo Waguchekwu, Jack Beaton, Teofil Nar, and the reverse grid pole will be Brando Badoa. 2 more point scores for Reza Suerden and Onto de Ligny. Great races all the way to the death. But Evan Schilter is a winner in the Middle East. His first ever racing campaign outside of Europe. And look at that. Scenes at ART Grand Prix. You don't tend to see too many emotions in the world of Formula Regional. They tend to keep it under lids, under wraps, until the end of the season. But Evan Schilter celebrating in fine style. You've got to remember that this is a driver with an incredible amount of ability. He has barely any budget to go racing at all. But Evan Schilter is the kind of driver for whom you make things happen. He's got an amazing team of people supporting him back home in France. They believe he's the real deal. Having watched him in karting for the last 5 years, I would absolutely agree with them. If you're going to put a man with great passion, with great power, with great potential in this Formula ladder to continue his journey on, you've got to give the credit to Evan Schilter with a drive.
Indeed, like a drive like that, he will very much one day be in Formula 1. If you do see him, thank me later. Or thank Adam. Thank Adam. Thank Adam first. But that is it for the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship. I've got other things to do. I've actually got videos. I've actually got a big video to finish recording for you guys. But yeah, that is it for the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship. It is Evan Schilter who stands on the top step of the podium at the end of the weekend in race number 1. We've got race number 2 tomorrow, race number 3 as well. 2 and 3 tomorrow. And then Wednesday we go qualifying for round 3 at Dubai, should I say, Dubai. Which I think was on no, it wasn't on a Formula 1 weekend. But Dubai, round 3. So race 2 and 3 is tomorrow. Then Dubai on the Wednesday for qualifying. Then race 1, 2, and 3 on the Thursday. Which will then run out of weekend. Yeah, so a big stacked weekend. Hope you guys do enjoy. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you to House and thank you to Elizabeth for joining in, showing that support like always. Elizabeth does try her hardest, even though it's like literally 3 a.m. for her. But yeah, Evan Schilter takes the win. It's a 142.6, Tata Carter 142.9, and Rashid Al-Lahiri 142.8. But the fastest lap of the race for Evan Schilter as he puts his steering column back on his car and jumps out, and one hand in the air. The French driver, French-taculous, if that's even a word. But that is it for the weekend. That is it for not for the weekend. That is it for race 1 of round 2. I'll be back tomorrow for race number 2 of the weekend. Till then, it's goodbye.